The power of action words, words that win interviews. You think your accomplishment professionals would grasp this, yet every week, every day, in fact, another senior executive sends out their resume, their CV that reads like a government press release. Boring, boring, passive verbs, flat language, and zero energy. And then they wonder why interview invitations never arrive. Recruiters and hiring leaders read hundreds of profiles, hundreds of resumes. They scan fast. Their eyes look for signals of leadership, ownership, and results. The verbs, the action verbs you choose, are one of those fastest way to send those signals. So let's talk about the power of action verbs and how they quietly influence whether you get invited to the interview table. If you want to win interviews, you must start by winning attention, create that wow factor. Your resume, your CV, your LinkedIn profile, and executive bio are not biographies. They are your marketing, your sales tools, your sales documents. They exist for one purpose only, to demonstrate impact and leadership quickly. One of the most effective ways to do that is through using powerful action verbs. Weak language suggests hesitation. Strong language signals leadership. Hiring leaders notice the difference instantly. The English language is so wonderful and deep that there are many synonyms you can use for just one action verb. Why action verbs matter? Recruiters skim documents in seconds. They look for signs of that leadership, that initiative, and measurable outcomes. Action verbs help them see those signals immediately. So let's consider the difference. Here is some very weak wording. Responsible for managing a team of 15. That's terrible. That really is weak. Here's some stronger wording. Directed a 15-person team delivering $20 million in annual revenue. Same job, same reality, completely different impact. Here's a second example that sounds like someone who owns results. Action verbs, action words create momentum. They show that things happened before you drove them. The problem with passive language, many professionals unintentionally sabotage their own profiles. They sabotage their own profiles. Just they can get out of that sabotage and get into the wow factor. They use phrases like responsible for, involved in, assisted with, worked on, helped with. Those are very outdated and very boring. These phrases shrink your authority. To me, they are boring. They make you sound like a participant rather than a leader. Now, imagine a recruiter reviewing two candidates. One says, assisted with strategic planning. The other says, designed and executed a 3-year strategic plan. Which one intrigues you? Which one gets the interview? Exactly. Language shapes perception, the psychology behind strong verbs. Strong verbs communicate three things immediately. Number one, they communicate ownership. Words that like led, built, created, launched, negotiated show that you took charge. Ownership matters. Organizations hire people who can move things forward. Number two, Momentum. Power verbs create that movement. Accelerated, transformed, revitalized, resurrected, expanded. These words tell the reader that progress occurred before your leadership. Number 3, results orientation. Action verbs work best when paired with measurable outcomes, those metrics. For example, expanded regional market share by 18%. Negotiated supplier contracts reducing costs by 4 million. Resurrected a floundering engineering business unit, leaking for $1.4 million per month. Now the reader sees both the action and the impact. So the categories of action verbs. Instead of choosing verbs, think in categories. Different action verbs communicate different leadership qualities. So here are some of the most effective groups. Leadership and influence. These words signal authority and direction. So include directed, mobilized, championed, guided, steered, orchestrated. So, for example, championed a digital transformation strategy across 5 global markets. That single verb instantly signals senior leadership involvement. Growth and expansion. Executives are often hired to grow organizations, boost their revenue, etc. These verbs highlight expansion and opportunity. So here are some examples. Expanded, accelerated, scaled, captured, boosted, strengthened, advanced. They are all good. So let's have an example. Expanded international distribution across 12 countries. That word expanded instantly conveys progress, strategy, and innovation. Strategy is the language of leadership. Words in this category show intellectual contribution. So let's have some examples. Designed, devised, architected, developed. So there's many others like engineered, pioneered. So think out of the box, think action verbs. So here is an example. Architected a new go-to-market strategy, increasing enterprise sales by 35%. Now the reader sees strategic thinking and results. Transformation and turnarounds. Companies love leaders who can fix problems. These verbs demonstrate change leadership. So here are some examples. Transformed, revitalized, structured, repositioned, stabilized, overhauled, resurrected. So here's another example. Restructured operations to restore profitability within 18 months. Just one word tells you a powerful turnaround story. Financial and commercial impact. If your work touches revenue, costs, or profit, highlight it. So here are some examples. Generated, secured, delivered, negotiated, optimized, boosted, captured. So there's some good examples for you. Another example in sentence format is negotiated global supplier agreements, reducing procurement costs by 22%. So executives who understand money get attention. Pair action verbs with metrics. Here's the crucial point. Action verbs alone are not enough. You must connect them with results. The more metrics you have in your resume, the greater chance is that you're going to get an interview. Action verbs plus numbers equal that credibility. So, for example, here's a weak wording. Led a marketing team. Strong. Led a 12-person marketing team generating 30 million in annual revenue. This is an even stronger one. Led a 12-person marketing team that increased digital revenue by 42% within 2 years. As you can see, numbers transform claims into evidence. The interview advantage. Strong action verbs do more than improve a resume or a CV. They also shape how you speak in interviews. When candidates describe their experience using clear action language, they sound decisive, they sound confident. Compare between these two responses. A weak one. I was involved in improving operational efficiency. Here is the strong one. I redesigned the operational workflow, cutting processing time by 30%. One sounds passive, the other sounds like leadership and performance. Interviewers listen carefully for this distinction. A practical exercise that you need to execute. Here's a quick exercise for you to strengthen your profile. Take one of your resume, your CV bullets, and let's say it reads something like this. And I see this so many times, it winds me up. Responsible for managing client relationships. Now rewrite it using 3 steps. Step 1, replace the weak phrase with a strong verb. The example, built strategic relationships with enterprise clients. Step 2, add scope. So here's the example. Built strategic relationships with 25 enterprise clients. Step number 3, add those results, that performance, those metrics. They need those metrics. Example, built strategic relationships with 25 enterprise clients, increasing contract renewal by 35%. Now the sentence carries authority and proof. However, a word of caution. Not every line needs to sound with a dramatic or start with a dramatic verb. If everything sounds like a superhero movie trailer, credibility will suffer. Use action verbs carefully. Make sure they reflect the actual level of responsibility. Authenticity always matters. Inflated language will be exposed quickly during interviews. Strong words should amplify truth, not exaggerate it. Your career story is told through language. The verbs you use quietly shape how others perceive your leadership, your credibility, and your impact. Passive words suggest participation. Powerful action verbs communicate ownership, momentum, and results. They transform a resume, a CV, from a job description into a leadership, performance-driven narrative. In competitive executive markets, that difference can determine who gets the interview call. Choose your words carefully, because the right words don't just describe your career. They help win the next opportunity. I'm Martin Buckland, your global executive career management practitioner. My motto is, your career is your business, manage it like a business. For more information on career management, please visit my YouTube channel, Martin Buckland, and press the subscribe button and the bell button where you will be notified of future videos. So hopefully you've learned something about the power of action verbs. It's pretty simple. Use the synonym when you're writing your resume, your CV on Word, Microsoft Word. Use the synonym and go and have a look and see what other words there are. Be creative. Create that wow factor, because that's the way you're going to win interviews, coupled with metrics, viable metrics.